Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Loadout. Now, this wouldn't be a typical video of mine without me explaining why there hasn't been videos for a while. Now this time, it is somewhat of a reasonable excuse. I have a lot of exams, the year I'm in, I'm doing all my exams, and I had to sit down and focus on those, and it just became super difficult to do a video, and in general I just wasn't exactly playing many games. I'd come home from my day in school, sit down, I'd play NBA 2K16 and not really think about playing Battlefield or even Rainbow Six to make a video. I just sort of sat around, played NBA for a couple of hours, did a bit of revision, and then went to bed. That was basically the routine for about the 2 weeks I wasn't uploading. But now I am back, and hopefully I will get into the routine and maybe start working out a way I can constantly make videos but still have enough time to do a revision. And I'm going to instantly get back in with an episode of Loadout. Now this first one, of course, this is a John Wick Loadout. Now, we'll confess first of all, I have not seen this movie, although I do know quite a bit about it because I was very excited about it when it was first announced. I kind of lost most of the hype after a bit, so I went, it's kind of just another action film, even though I love action films. I didn't really bother seeing this one, but I took a look at some posters from the movie and actually watched the trailers again to try and get an actual good solid loadout for this. And eventually I kind of realised all the weapons that I need aren't in Battlefield 4. A few of them are available in Battlefield Hardline, which isn't a game I feel like playing. Also, I wasn't actually able to get them because you need premium in order to get the certain weapons I needed, and I wasn't exactly about to pay that for Battlefield Hardline Premium, a game which I think is dead already. Now, the loadout would have been a KSG with a holographic sight and a foregrip, and then a PL or P30L, which is a Heckler and Koch variant. Now, the closest two weapons to these are the UTS-15, which is pretty much the same concept as the KSG. Two different cylinders containing shells, one action, and you can actually change between the different cylinders with the shells, but that isn't available in game. And the P30L I thought was most similar to the P226 with a little barrel compensator on front, even though I couldn't, again, there isn't the exact model that they have in John Wick in this game. So this order is a little bit of a stretch. If you really stretch your imagination, you can definitely see it does resemble the movie. For the gadgets, I chose to go with the ammo box for the typical sort of action hero thing of never really seems to run out of ammo, so a kind of obvious choice really. And also then I used the Ballistic Shield because again from the trailers I've seen it seems like he dodges a lot of bullets, so I kind of want to represent that by absorbing those bullets, even though for some reason above before the shield doesn't go on your back. I still used it a couple of times to sort of act as a thing to avoid bullets when going from cover to cover. Now I will say this loadout was surprisingly a lot of fun. I kind of thought going into it the UTS was a bit of a slugger of a shotgun really, that it didn't really have anything to it. It was just sort of heavy, did a lot of damage but no accuracy, very slow action, and in general just seriously outclassed by every weapon, and I wasn't really looking forward to it. But I can honestly say I was completely outdone. The UTS is a lot of fun, and in general it's just a complete beast of a gun. Although, again, it is a compromise for the KSG. I would have liked to see one of those in Battlefield 4, but, you know, you gotta take what you got. And the P226, again, compromise with the P30L, it's okay, it's a perfectly fine pistol. But the UTS, like I said, is a complete beast. If you can get in close quarters, and as long as you line up your shots, you've won every time. You've seen several of these clips. If half the enemy's body is inside that circle, then they're done, you know. But the main problem I had with this gun overall is that it is extremely weak at anything further than close range. As soon as you get beyond 2-3 meters in game, the gun loses pretty much all power. Unless you're able to get a dead-on body shot, there is absolutely no hope for you. It also is heavily inconsistent. Several times I will shoot at an enemy's head, even though there is no headshot multiplier for shotguns. I will shoot at an enemy's head, absorbing most of their upper body, and they won't actually die in that one shot. I did find this later on, so maybe it's the fact that I started to overthink using the weapon too much, or possibly I just, you know, started to lose a bit of mojo from the start, but I did sort of feel that the gun occasionally would let me down when I really thought I had a kill. But a couple of times where I did manage to get an awesome 2-piece when I didn't expect to get one, and suddenly bang, 2 kills in one. I'm like, wait, can you do that with a shotgun? And it did genuinely surprise me about how powerful this thing can actually be. I do seriously regret not using it sooner, and really realizing the power and potential it has. It may have even made me stay at Battlefield 4, realizing there's a lot of guns that I haven't actually discovered yet that I really should start using more. Now, one thing I will say about it is you definitely do not want to use it on any open maps. I did try it in a few, and I can honestly say the experience was very almost enjoyable. I never quite had a point where I was able to dominate as I would in tight in something like Metro or Locker, where seriously you can run about and just wreck people. But it still works effectively at times, especially when holding down objectives or even capturing objectives. I just wouldn't recommend taking it at anything that's going to be a little bit challenging for it. If you can't hit the enemy, don't bother shooting. Now, typically with shotguns, there is no bonus for aiming down sights, but I personally found with the UTS that did actually provide quite a bit of bonus. I sort of felt when I couldn't land the first shot, if I aim down sights, then suddenly the spread becomes so much more increased, but the damage still stays the same. It's very odd. I'm wondering if it's a glitch or a boost of the UTS, but I certainly felt that occasionally first shot would again be either inconsistent or just miss. Second shot, as long as they are inside the holographic sight, then they are definitely a kill. But overall, the gun is, like I said, an absolute beast, and the fact that it has this huge 15-round magazine, you can see an enemy, put a couple of shots down range, and actually hold them in position whilst going at them, and the reload is surprisingly quick. And with the fact that it has 15 rounds, like I said, and a surprisingly quick action, it can be a lot of fun, again, in close quarters. You do not want to use it on any medium-sized map. So although, like I said, I would like to try a KSG in Battlefield 4, the UTS was the best pick because of the 2 cylinders. Although I would like to see some sort of mechanic in Battlefield 4, maybe you can change between the cylinders and different ammo, which is actually an ability of the UTS and the KSG in real life. It could be a little bit difficult to incorporate, although I do imagine it could be done, seeing as we have different firing modes for ARs, LMGs and SMGs. So I could see something happening in the next Battlefield, maybe Battlefield 2016. Now the P226, like I said, is perfectly fine. It's nothing special, nothing crazy. I used it a couple of times, never really well enough in order to get a good clip for it. It is definitely not a pistol that's going to actually destroy or be an absolute solid backup. That's basically like a primary weapon. I'd recommend giving it a go, but I'm not personally a fan of it. I much prefer using something like the M9 or the 93R. Now the ammo box is typical. It just provides ammo and helps your teammates as well. We're getting a little bit of extra XP. And the Ballistic Shield, like I said, was actually quite fun to use if I need to go from cover to cover. But overall, the Loadout, like I said, was a lot of fun. It is actually really good. It's fantastic to use, especially in close quarters. You can have a lot of fun using it. And I would recommend using this one, but in close quarters, do not stress yourself and use it at mid-range. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This is Blue Monsoon, out.